Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to our Annual Issues Symposium for 2017. You know, a lot's been written and said about workers' compensation every day. Sometimes it's overwhelming just to keep up with the topics. One of my goals today is to try to provide some perspective. And to do that, I want to introduce the concept of relevance and why it's important, in my view, to our industry and to our system. We're going to talk about the word. We're going to change it up a little bit, though. Instead of the word representing the financial health or the financial condition of our industry, I would like the word this year to talk about our path forward. So we'll have the word, and you'll hear that in a few minutes. You know, NCCI has a multifaceted role in this industry, but one of the things that we try to do is create a system that's stable, it's healthy and balanced. And one of the things that we do in terms of our goals is to provide tools, data, insights, and services. And with these things in mind, with these goals in mind, over the past year I've been drawn to this concept of relevance. And the reason is that companies or industries that don't stay relevant, they go out of business. Now, I want to share a story with you that I think fits this point nicely. Well, in the year 2000, Blockbuster was approached by this internet startup company called Netflix. And Reed Hastings came with a proposal that said we should merge or you should buy us for $50 million. Now, Blockbuster turned them down flat. Maybe they turned them down because at the time they were at the top of their game. They had dominant market share, they had thousands of locations, and they had millions of customers, just like all of us. And I think that Blockbuster failed to see at that time the impact that technology was going to have on the competitive landscape that they operated in. And they failed to see the structural changes that were happening. Well, everybody knows the end of that story. So how do we ensure that the workers' compensation system doesn't share the same fate? And I think that the answer to that lies in the word for 2017. The word for 2017 is adapting, because change is coming, and it's coming faster than we've seen before. So in this discussion, I'd like to talk about how the workers' compensation system has adapted over our 100-plus year history, and how by continuing to adapt, we remain relevant in the years ahead. So before going forward, I'd like to start back at the beginning. You know, our industry was born because we solved a big problem. The injured workers needed to be protected, and they needed to care for their families, and employers needed to insulate themselves from the uncertainty of litigation. The answer, as everybody knows, was the grand bargain. Okay? We solved a problem and we became relevant. Is our system relevant in 2017? And I would say that the industry's health is strong. 95% of workers are covered. Workplaces have never been safer. And we've got an industry that's very good at prioritizing and executing on this concept of return to work. So if I ask the question and try to answer it, my short answer is, heck yes, this is a relevant industry. I think that we will adapt and we will remain relevant. And here's why. If this was 1950 and we were talking to the AIS 1950 group, my guess is we'd be talking about a changing workforce, the need for new skills, and maybe even technology. So my point is, we've been here before. We have a resilient system that shows that we can adapt. So in closing, we've got a system that is strong, and it's strong because we've demonstrated the ability to adapt. We have the power and flexibility to deal with whatever comes our way. You know, I started this morning with the story of Blockbuster, and I don't think that our system is going to follow their fate. And the reason is that we're aware of the lesson that their story teaches, which is simply to remain relevant, you need to adapt to the changing needs of those that you serve. So I wanted to thank you very much for your time this morning, and I hope that you have an awesome symposium. Thank you very much.